Hi there! Welcome to another episode of the Okanagan Gardener and Forager channel. Today, I was just in the yard foraging for some of my own Oregon grapes. Today I'm going to give you a couple tips and pointers on what I do with pruning, summer pruning raspberries. This is for pruning summer bearing raspberries, so once they're done fruiting, then this is the pruning you should do. And I'll also just show you what I do with them to fertilize. So here's my little raspberry patch. I would love to have more, but I haven't managed to get more in yet. But it was one of the first things I did at our house was put in some raspberries because I love them. They're just one of my favorite fruits. Anyways, I have two varieties. One is Boyne, and I got it because it was available, and it's a little bit more cold hardy, and it ripens a little bit earlier in the season than Tulameen. That's what this one over here is Tulameen. Tulameen's probably the one that most people are familiar with. It's got the great big raspberries and delicious, good fruit. It ripens a little later than the Boyne, so anyway, I got two of them. The Boyne is a little more cold hardy, so how you can tell them apart, pretty straightforward really. This one here you can see is new growth. It just, looks new when you compare it to these ones. This is summer bearing, so it takes 2 years for it to grow. The first year it grows a cane, and then over winter it comes back the next year, and then that's what fruits. So these ones fruited this year. They look all woody, so just cut them out as close to the bottom as you can get. And I'll get it out in a sec. This one is also an old one. Now this one here is new this year, but something happened. It's this. I don't know, it died for some reason, so rather than leave it, I'm just gonna take it out. And it goes pretty straightforward, just through like that. You'll be doing other pruning in the spring, deciding which ones are, for spacing to thin them out, or if they're too skinny, then you'd take them out. But for now, I'm just going to be pruning out the stuff that finished fruiting, or in the case of this one, that one that I cut, which is actually new growth, but it's dead, so I'm going to take it out anyway. So as I go through here, a couple more points to consider. When in the spring you would do some more pruning, and you want it to be about 6-inch spacing, and the canes should be like a 1/4 inch thick, you'd prune it down, get rid of those ones. But right now I'm not too worried about it because I don't know what is going to happen over the winter. I don't know how much these things are going to grow. So for the most part, I'm going to let them grow. But there are some that I'll take out that I am taking out for various reasons. Like this one here is already kind of growing all crooked, and I could, it's some personal preference here. This one's growing kind of, I don't really like the way it's growing, so I don't like the cut of its jib, so I'm just gonna take it out. And some other ones like this one here kind of also already kind of looks sickly, so I'm gonna take that one out too. So the raspberry patch is looking pretty good now, pretty well pruned. I should have mentioned it earlier, but what I'm doing, things to keep in mind when you're pruning. You're pruning to stimulate new growth, but also 3 Ds, and I think they're dead, damaged, and diseased. And so I've showed you a couple. I pruned out a dead one, and then, well, I guess I've only shown you one. Dead and maybe sort of damaged. This one, I don't know what it is, but this is new growth. You can see it's this one. It's the new growth, but it's got this little mark here on it. I don't know what it is. Some damage or something, so it doesn't look as good as another one, so I'm just gonna cut it out. After mowing the strawberries, they're looking pretty good, I think. Now to fertilize the raspberries. You could use some kind of fertilizer or something, but what I'm going to use is compost. So I've got the compost, I spread it around. What I read was that you shouldn't really mulch raspberries, but then I've also spoken to some raspberry farmers, and they said, and they did mulch, so, you know, whatever. So what I think I'm doing is kind of a little bit of both. So I just take, raspberries love compost. So I've got compost, and what I do, I like to think, I chew it in. I just kind of dig it into the soil a little bit. So I'm still, whatever, doing a little bit of both. It's mulching, it's not, it's just adding some fertilizer. I don't use any other fertilizer, I just add this compost. And you might notice there are things like eggshells, but it's not fully broken down. Don't worry, it will. So I'll just go around and I'll try to spread the compost around about even, try to work it in between, and you know, I don't dig it down too far, just a little bit. And then and I think the reason that some would say that you shouldn't mulch raspberries is it can cause some rots. So I'm not doing too much, it's not that thick. But a little bit of compost, I think, goes a long way, and this will feed the raspberries for years to come. And here's how they look when it's all done. The compost. Chewed in. So that's it. Those are my tips on how to prune summer bearing raspberries. This is only one of the things you should do during the year. You'll need to do some pruning in the spring, but that's enough for now. That should help them have good growth for the rest of the season, and it'll help next year so to get even more fruit. So if you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.